Welcome to the Director's Cut Podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. In this podcast, we will feature stories that didn't make the final cut for the live radio show, but they are still excellent stories and need to be shared. Our third edition was submitted for the April 2024 Gardens and Games radio show. Chad Fred Bailey submitted it on behalf of his late friend, Elaine Scott Cantrell. These are Elaine's memories in her own handwriting about growing up in Washington County and the famous rock garden her family had in Johnson City along Greenwood Drive near East Tennessee State University. This story is read by Sherrie Peters. Sit back and enjoy the tale of the Scott family rock garden.
When I was at home, we always made a garden and raised lots of flowers from the time I can remember. Daddy raised a big garden in order for us to have fresh vegetables and then canned a lot. He raised lots of beans and tomatoes and potatoes and okra and onions and sweet potatoes and cabbage and turnips and greens of all kinds. None of the veggies ever went to waste. We had good vegetables every day, and in the winter, all kinds of good canned food. Mama thought she couldn't start the winter if we didn't have 100 jars of canned foods, including jams, jellies, pickles, relish, apple, and peach butter. In the winter around Thanksgiving, Daddy would kill a beef cow and a couple of hogs. A lot of that meat had to be canned. We also had chickens and a cow to milk. Daddy had a big orchard with apples and pears and plums and grapes and gooseberries and more. In 1933-34, the rock garden was started with a lot of different kinds of flowers. Mama liked the new varieties. It was a lot of hard work, but we all had to help either in the garden or with the flowers. Visitors came from far and near to see the rock garden, especially in the early years. Some of the people who came included ETSU President Charles Sherritt and his wife, Dr. and Mrs. D.P. Culp. Dr. Culp was also president at ETSU. Lots of teachers from the normal training school stopped by, of course. And you know it today is East Tennessee State University. Harry and Pearl Onks came by, as did Mr. and Mrs. Horace Modern. So many people came to visit and enjoy the flowers. In 1969, we had to get rid of the rock garden. A lot of the flowers were put back in the yard, given away, and I brought a lot of the plants down to my house. I still have them and take care of them. I really enjoy tending the garden and keeping my flowers cleaned out. Everybody ought to have a little garden and some flowers.
Thank you for tuning in for the Director's Cut Podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. Check in next month for more stories. StoryTown is supported by the Tennessee Arts Commission, Trivia with Buds, The Silver Raven, Gary and Sandee Degner, Mountain Empire Cremation and Burial Services, and of course, the Wild Women of Jonesborough.